Palantir's Alex Karp was just on Bloomberg TV for a little bit before kicking off Palantir's AIPCon product launch event this afternoon on June 1st, 2023. And essentially, he was talking about many different topics. Discussion was directed by Bloomberg about many different conversations within AI, and I've really enjoyed this conversation. I just want to share with you some of my thoughts after listening to it and a summary of it. And so he was asked about competitors, he was asked about the market, he was asked about why AIP is going to be so successful, and so on. So first, I just want to talk about Alex Karp refuting the recent bear report that just came out this morning. The interviewer actually asked him to comment on this bear report by the Bear Cave about Palantir, and it seemed as though from his body language that Alex Karp was already familiar with the claims, had been briefed on it. And so this was a newsletter that sends out and has an audience of 45,000 or so subscribers, essentially commenting on Palantir as being not necessarily holding up to its claims as being a true AI company and worthy of an investment. I haven't paid to actually obtain access to the research, but what Alex Karp essentially had said was, this is certainly the bearish view of looking at things. I think it's an interesting viewpoint, but it's not one that he subscribes to. Obviously, he believes Palantir, and what he went on to say in this interview is actually truly does make some of the most impactful software. And it just seemed as though this report was glancing over that, not fully understanding the product. And it is fairly ironic that this comes ahead of Palantir's big event that is going to be showing in minutes from now, as I record this, the true power of their technology. So he sort of brushed that off, but did acknowledge it nonetheless, which I think was the right thing to do. And on competition, brought up about C3 AI, some of the other competitors. Alex Karp said Palantir does not see itself as facing off against these competitors individually. He says their product is definitely viewed, and you want to get the essentially the ROI outcome approach, where you're going to choose either it's going to be Palantir because of the value they create, or it's something else because of the value that it creates. It's not going to be, one competitor against another because of the name. It's really based on the value it can be generated. And he does not see C3 AI as a significant competition, even though they do, something similar in a small domain. And another piece of it was on AIP, which we, as you watch this, will have already seen the demo for, and I'm going to be reacting to that, posting that as well. He talked about AIP being, so significant, generative AI, the market for that growing, 40% annually, and Palantir is going to be agnostic to, whatever large language models want to be integrated, be that OpenAI's GPT-4 or whatever else. So definitely good to hear the integration on that matter. And he just sounds super excited about the product, said they've been investing in this for, really long, and it's been billions of dollars. And I think it's not necessarily, that figure isn't necessarily incorporating, what they've been doing on AIP, which I'd imagine hasn't been for more than the past year or so. But it really is incorporating much more than AIP alone, because these are building blocks for Palantir. They had to do Gotham so they could get to Foundry, and now they're building off of Foundry this AIP product, which really leverages a lot of the technology that they've already integrated, and is able to build off of it to go much farther and make it a meaningful product that is ultimately just so much more valuable for all of these businesses. And he even said at one point, he wonders if they should even be selling to some of these customers because of the power of it and, the implications of that, which I wasn't entirely sure, what he's thinking when he says something like that. But they obviously have the IP, they have the engineers, they have the talent and the technology, and it's really a moment where I think they're certainly going to come to light and do something really impressive with all of this. And so his overlying message on AIP was that people do not understand the power of this technology, and so far, it is definitely an underrated aspect of their business. Another topic was, what are they going to price it at? So, how are they going to actually establish pricing on this product? Is it going to be, licensing like they do with Foundry, or is it going to be, something completely different? And Alex Karp, brought it back to the idea of they want to have it be a value generating product, and it should be based on the value that is generated with respect to what the price could actually be. And so I actually really like this idea and how they price it, because they don't really do this with Foundry. I have so much information on the pricing of Foundry, not, very specifics, but about how they establish a client relationship that I can't necessarily share. Maybe I will, one of these videos. But back to the idea of what are they actually going to do with Palantir's AIP product and the pricing? And they said they're just building this product out now. They don't necessarily want to lock themselves into a certain way of doing these pricing relationships, but they already have customers on the product, so clearly that's not a holdup when it comes to actually establishing some of these early relationships. But back to the idea of what exactly should they do with the pricing. I really do like if they are able to say, here's how much we think you're going to make, ROI on this product, how much you're going to save, how much income you're going to generate, or whatever it may be, and we want to just take a very, very small cut of that. That's very powerful, and that unlocks truly exponential growth for Palantir. Now, what really is difficult for establishing, a model for AIP is Wall Street, of course, wants to know